Now, let's talk about completing the square. So, there are quadratic equations that are not factorable. So, meaning, you can apply the method of completing the square. Pwede din naman natin gamitin siya kapag factorable yung ating equation. So, this method means that transforming one side of the equation into a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so there are steps in finding roots of quadratic equation by completing the square. Step 1. If the value of a is 1, proceed to step 2. Otherwise, divide both sides of the equation by a. Step 2. Group all variable terms on one side of the equation and constant on the other side. Step 3. Complete the square of the resulting binomial by adding on both sides of the equation the square of half of b. Step 4. Factor the resulting perfect square trinomial and write it as square of binomial. And step 5 is use the square root property to solve for x. So let's find the roots of quadratic equation by completing the square. Okay? So, ang unang example natin ay find the roots of x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. Okay? So, may mga steps na kailangan nating sundin. Yun na nga, yung na-explain ko kanina na mga steps. Okay? So, i-apply na natin dun sa ating unang example. Okay, so, x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. So, kung mapapansin natin, yung value ng a dito ay equals to 1. So, kaya magpo-proceed na tayo sa step 2. Kung saan, lahat ng may variable ay isusulat natin dun sa left-hand side. At ang lahat ng constant or yung constant ay ililipat natin dun sa right-hand side. So, magiging ganito siya. Ang may mga variables lang dito ay yung x squared plus 2x. Yan. Yun yung variable, yung may mga x. Then, equals to, i-transpose natin tong constant or yung value ng c sa right-hand side. Kaya magiging positive 3. Okay? So, next step, kukuhanin natin yung value ng b. Okay? So, ang value ng b natin ay 2. Then, i-divide natin yung value ng b sa 2. Then, it is equal to 1. Then, yung nakuha natin sa pinag-divide natin ay i-square naman natin. Then, so, equals to 1 na siya. Okay? Yung 1 ay idudugsong natin dito sa left-hand side na idadagdag nating term at dun sa right-hand side. So, magiging ganito yung ating equation. So, x squared plus 2x plus 1 yan, equals to 3 plus 1. Yan. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung idinagdag natin. Ito yung dinagdag natin para makumpleto yung square niya. Okay? So, i-simplify natin to. So, x squared plus 2x plus 1. Then, 3 plus 1 ay equals to 4. Okay? So, sa step 4 na tayo. So, sa step 4, factor the resulting perfect square trinomial and write it as square of binomial. Okay, so, ibig sabihin, itong trinomial na to ay perfect square na siya. So, ibig sabihin, magkakaroon na tayo ng square of a binomial kung saan ganito yung kanyang itsura. Ano? Okay, so since we know, hanapin natin yung factors at addends ng 1 and 2. So, ano ba yun? So, ito ay x plus 1. Kasi x plus 1 times x plus 1 ay equals to x squared plus 2x plus 1. So, ayan. kapag kasi pinag-add natin yung 1, ang sagot ay 2. At kapag pinag-multiply natin yung 1, ang sagot ay 1. Then, equals to 4. Yan. Step 5. Kailangan na nating square root yung ating nakuhang square of binomial at yung 4. Yan. And isolve na natin siya. So, x plus 1. So, ayan, makakancel na yan. Equals to positive 2 at negative 2. Yan. At pwede na natin siyang kuhanin ang roots niya. Kaya, x plus 1 equals to 2, positive 2, at x plus 1 equals to negative 2. Yan. So, x equals to 2 minus 1, kasi yung 1 itatranspose na natin. So, x is equals to 1. At dito naman, x equals to negative 2 minus 1. Therefore, ang x ay equals to negative 3. Kasi negative 2 minus 1 ay equals to negative 3. Kaya ang roots of quadratic equation natin ay x equals to 1 and x equal to negative 3 using the completing the square. So, let's have another example. So, 2x squared minus 4x minus 16 equals to 0. So, since we know that the value of a is not equal to 1 and it is equal to 2, ang gagawin natin ay yung step 1, kung saan i-divide natin yung equation by the value of a. So, 2x squared divided by 2 ay equals to x squared. Negative 4x divided by 2 ay negative 2x. At negative 16 divided by 2 ay negative 8. So, equals to 0. Then, proceed to step 2, kung saan isusulat natin yung lahat ng variable dun sa left-hand side at equals to the constants. So, yung value ng c. So, itong negative 8 ay magiging positive 8 na siya. Okay? Then, step 3. Ang step 3 ay kukuhanin natin yung value ng b. Ito yon. So, ito yung value ng b na negative 2. Then, i-divide natin sa 2. Magiging answer ay negative 1. Nakukuhanin natin yung square ng negative 1. So, ito ay positive 1. Then, yung positive 1 ay idudugsong na natin dun sa ating step 2. Yan. So, magiging ganito siya. So, x squared minus 2x plus 1. Yan. Then, equals to 8 plus 1. Okay. So, idinugsong natin dito para maging kompleto yung square natin. Okay? So, next, i-simplify natin yung 8 plus 1. So, x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals to 9. Okay, then step 4. Ang step 4 naman ay, ito, isusulat na natin yung square niya. Ayan. So, ito ay x minus 1, then squared. Square of a binomial niya. Ayan. So, x minus 1 squared equals to 9. Then, step number 5 ay kukuhanin natin yung kanyang square root. So, x minus 1 squared equals to square root of 9. Yan. Cancel na yun. Then, x minus 1 equals to positive and negative 3. Okay? Then, pwede na natin siyang paghiwalayin. So, x minus 1 equals to 3. And x minus 1 equals to negative 3. Yan. So, x equals to 3 plus 1, x is equals to 4. At dito naman, x
equals to negative 3 plus 1. Then x is equals to negative 2. Therefore, ang roots of quadratic equation natin ay x is equals to 4 and x equals to negative 2. Okay?
Okay, so in solving quadratic equation, by completing the square, kailangan nating isaalang-alang at sundin yung mga steps para makuha natin yung roots ng quadratic equation. Thank you for watching!